So for today's video, we will be taking a look at a moneymaker that I actually haven't tried before, and that is Degriming Grimy Kwuarm. So before, in the past, the way to do this would be to just have a full inventory of this and then just left click everything, and it was kind of a carpal tunnel syndrome situation. But now we actually have a spell that was added. I don't even know how long ago. It's probably been a while, but we actually have a spell that will do the entire inventory for you, so it's far less click intensive. So I decided to pick Kwuarm. There were some other ones that were ranked higher GP wise on the OSRS Wiki, but upon further inspection on the GE, they really weren't selling for the prices that were advertised there. So I found Kwuarms and they were selling for decent prices. There was some nice margins, so today we'll be taking a look at that specific herb. But before you do this, just make sure that you price check everything to make sure that it is viable. So for this moneymaker, all you will need is an earth staff along with some nature runes, and of course the stack of whatever herb you will be degriming. Now before we start this, I will go to my POH because we need to be on a different spellbook. So we'll come over here to the Altar of the Occult, and I believe it's on the Arceus spellbook. Equip the staff, and there it is, D Grime, level 70. Now for this specific herb that we're using, we do need level 54 herb lore as well as the level 70 requirement for magic. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So this is actually my first time using this spell. I've never casted this spell and I'm kind of excited to try it out. I think for the most part, the strat here is going to be, well, we should probably move this somewhere else. We can probably move it into this tab right here, just so it's closer to the inventory. So I guess the strat here is just going to be to get a full inventory, then cast a spell, and then it should degrime everything at once. And then come back here, bank it, and then grab it. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth in the inventory and in the bank screen. So I guess we can do a quick test on this inventory to see what it looks like, since I have plenty of herbs. I think I bought way more than I needed, but always better to have more than less. So let's go ahead and cast it and see what happens. All right, there we go. We get the XP drop, 83 magic, and 150 herb lore. And the entire inventory has been cleaned. All right, so it's not instant when you cast a spell, so it's not going to be as much banking as I thought it was going to be, but yeah, not bad. Just a heads up, there might be a timer on how often you can use this spell. Sometimes I find myself having to double click to actually get it to go through. But then sometimes it seems like I've waited a good bit and I still need to double click, so maybe it's just like a delay between the bank and the spell. Not really sure. So like I said earlier, requirements for this aren't really too crazy. I think honestly, like, the worst part about this is probably the fact that you have to have a lot of money if you want to do this for a long time. I think all the herbs that we bought was like close to 50 mil, so it is kind of expensive, but you don't need to buy the entire stack at once. So not really too big of a deal. But if you do buy the entire stack, you also have to get around the buy limit. I think it's 13,000 every 4 hours. So just a heads up, I know that you can see the price of the herbs right now whenever I hover over them, and it would seem that the grimy version is actually more expensive than the clean version. That wasn't the case when I bought them, so we might have to let them sit in the GE for a good while. Also, something that's important to note is that you only get half the experience that you would get cleaning these herbs when you use the degrime spell, rather than you actually cleaning them by hand individually. So, something to think about. Me personally, that doesn't really bother me too much. I would rather get half XP than have to manually click each and every herb. Yeah, definitely want to save my hands on this one. I also realized as I was doing this that I wasn't really on a good pace. I think the wiki said that you would clean about 16,000 an hour, and it just wasn't looking like we were going to hit that number. So yeah, maybe after, you know, a couple more hours of doing this, I can get it down right. But the delay between casting the spell and then having to wait for it to come back kind of throws me off a bit. So I guess I still need more practice with that. This was actually a moneymaker that I had my eye on for quite some time, but every time that I wanted to do it, I would do the price checks and the numbers just wouldn't add up. It was never really viable to do so. Until today, I saw that the margins were looking pretty decent, so I decided to try my luck out. And towards the end, you will see that it will take us a little bit longer to sell them off, but we do end up selling them for a profit, so that's good. I actually got reminded of this idea, or I guess this moneymaker, during my wyvern grind whenever I was going for the wyvern visage. There were a bunch of herbs that I was getting throughout that video, and this was one of them. And then whenever I tried selling them, they just wouldn't sell at all in the GE. I think I even put them like 500 GP under the market value and they still wouldn't sell. And then I cleaned them off and they ended up selling instantly. So I thought maybe we should go ahead and try it out and see if we can get some crazy margins. And although the margins weren't as crazy as that day, they were still pretty decent. And speaking of wyvern videos and other crazy grinds, as you already know, I'm still, hunting for that wyvern visage. But besides that, I also have some other videos planned for some other crazy grinds, so be on the lookout for that. And maybe even a new series, possibly. We'll see. But that's pretty much it for this moneymaker, and before we go ahead and see how much money we made, I just want to mention one little thing. I think it is possible to click the spell and then click the bank interface before it actually finishes casting. So I think maybe 1 or 2 times throughout this video, I did end up wasting a cast, so yeah, my bad. But enough of that, let's go ahead and see how many herbs we were able to clean in this 1 hour. Alrighty, so after 1 hour of degriming these Kwuarms, we were able to do almost 13,000, which is the buy limit for it, so I guess we didn't have to buy more. But to be fair, this probably could have been done a lot faster, especially with the OSRS Wiki saying you can get up to 16,000 done. So yeah, do a little price check on that. 37 million. Let's go ahead and head over to the GE and sell them all off. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in there for the market price. I've seen they've gone down a bit, but yeah, we'll throw them in there for this price and let them sell over time. All right, so here we are about a day later. They did end up selling, which is good. I was worried for a little bit. I thought they were gonna keep crashing, but I think that price decrease was just because I had bought so many of them. The day that I bought all the Kwuarms, I noticed that the trade volume for that specific day was higher than any day in like this past week. So obviously the price was gonna go down, but luckily they did sell. So yeah, if you do this moneymaker, just be aware that there's going to be a strong chance that you are going to make the price of them decrease, but after some time it should, stabilize. So if we take a look at the cost of supplies, which was the price of the herbs and the nature runes, we have 36,290,236 GP. Subtract that from the money we made, which was 36,704,664 GP. That gives us a grand total profit of 414,428 GP from 1 hour. So nowhere near to what the wiki was estimating, but like I said, this is a very volatile moneymaker, I guess you could say. The prices are always changing for these herbs, and more than likely, if you buy even an hour's worth of these herbs, you are going to make the price decrease. So just be aware of that. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and thank you to all of my channel members. Once again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.